Have you ever heard of a proxy war? Well, let me introduce you to a prime example, the Middle East. In this volatile region, major powers such as Saudi Arabia and Iran engage in a unique form of warfare, known as proxy warfare. Instead of directly fighting each other, they support opposing sides in conflicts within other countries. Why do they do this? It's all about influence. Both Saudi Arabia and Iran see these civil wars as opportunities to expand their power and secure their interests. They manipulate local militias and terrorist groups, fueling violence across borders. The consequences are devastating. Failing states struggle to function when larger countries are pulling the strings within their borders. Countless lives are lost, and the region becomes a battlefield for rivalries. This rivalry in the Middle East is often referred to as a Cold War. While it may not be on the same scale as the famous Soviet Cold War, the stakes are high. Saudi Arabia and Iran are vying for control of the Middle East, each seeking dominance over the other. To understand the origins of this rivalry, we have to go back in time. The Arabian Peninsula, once a patchwork of tribes, saw the rise of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia in the early 20th century. With vast oil reserves, Saudi Arabia became prosperous and formed an alliance with the US. Meanwhile, Iran faced constant foreign intervention, invaded by the Russians and British multiple times. In 1979, Iran's Islamic Revolution overthrew a powerful regime, setting the stage for the Saudi-Iranian rivalry. Ayatollah Khomeini led a revolution rooted in Islamic ideology, sparking fear in Saudi Arabia. The Sunni-Shia divide further fueled tensions between these two regional powers. The Saudis, predominantly Sunni, feared Iran's Shia influence and its claim to be the legitimate Muslim state. As conflicts erupted, Iraq became a battleground where Saudi Arabia and Iran fought through proxies. The Iran-Iraq War in the 1980s showcased this proxy war strategy. The Saudis supported Iraq, fearing an Iranian victory, while Iran found support from other Shia groups. This pattern continued during the Arab Spring in 2011. Saudi Arabia aimed to maintain stability in the region, while Iran sought to disrupt the status quo. They backed opposing groups and governments, leading to further collapses in various countries. Today, the conflict has escalated even further. Saudi Arabia's military is involved in Yemen, supporting the government against Houthi rebels, who are backed by Iran. In Syria, Iran fights alongside militias, including Hezbollah, to support the regime of Bashar al-Assad, while Saudi proxies oppose them. This Cold War in the Middle East is becoming increasingly unpredictable. More countries are drawn into the conflict, and the rise of terrorist groups like ISIS adds another layer of complexity. As the region continues to destabilize, it's uncertain how far these countries will go in their pursuit of power. The impact on the Middle East and its people cannot be ignored.